vision for Access and from CAANZ is to show the power of creativity and for agencies to have a more credible and legitimate role in that space. And I think that's something that Access has probably lacked in the past. It's certainly our vision to get clients and the business community excited by it. And I think if the creative industry and the agencies themselves can't genuinely respect each other, treat each other in the right way, and talk about each other maybe in a competitive edge, but also with a sense of admiration and cheeky respect, then there's no way we can ask our clients to, and the business industry. And I think the guys from Clemenger did a brilliant job nailing it, and the work's funny. It's got better and better as it's evolved over the last 3 or 4 months, and hats off to the 3 or 4 agencies that probably didn't stand out work, because I know all my mates are talking about it, and I think it's brilliant. It's good for us. I think from a client's perspective, and Dwan, having worked for Nike for so long today, showed brilliant examples, but they're a business that understands the power of creativity, and they allow their agencies, whether it's White & Kennedy or AKQA or RGA in New York, to work so far upstream. They're creating platforms, they're creating technology, they're creating genuine, powerful, digital or real-world utility, and that doesn't happen very often. I don't think there's another marketing organization that you could look at in terms of the world, and that's the benchmark. I think there's a beautiful example locally today where there's a company that most of the New Zealand and Australian agencies absolutely adore and have a huge amount of respect for, and it's Finch, a production company that used to produce great film that have now probably spent more of the time and energy creating tech, but creative technology, and then partnering with agencies. Some of our best work, and I think you look at Havas in Sydney, who have stepped up creatively recently, looking at the Monkeys and a number of other agencies. Some of their ideas have come from technology provided by what was once a production company that are now playing in this grey space. Right. And they collaborate, they partner, and I think it's a little reminder to the rest of that industry and the creative industry to let people in and work closely with brilliant people. I think it's as simple as if an idea is interesting and powerful, and everyone said today about purpose. It's something we've been preaching for a while at CAANZ. When brands have purpose, they become interesting. And if an idea resonates with consumers, there is no borders, there are no boundaries. The best work is international and universal, and I think we're seeing that around the world at the moment. I think for the last 3 or 4 years, New Zealand being a smaller market, perhaps more nimble and flexible, we've really been able to push some boundaries in terms of experiential, direct, promotional, and some interactive work. We've probably fallen behind in the major film, storytelling through film. That's about economies of scale. This year it's interesting, I think, you look at the craft work and the film work that's come out and you go, it's world class. And talking to the 3 international judges, and I was sitting in the executive judging, you absolutely have to applaud the local work. It's absolutely world class. We've probably fallen back a little bit in the technology. You need a certain amount of capital to be able to build some of these platforms and digital pieces of utility, and maybe we're not pushing hard enough in that space. So I think that's an area where particularly the international judges looked at us and said it was a little weak.
Really?
To try harder and give it. And the creative thinking here, the ideas are here. I don't think we're getting clients to believe in it and be confident enough that what we're presenting is worth investing significant budget. And I think that's the next step over the next 18 years all the agencies will be looking and focusing on. I do believe it's an economies of scale. When you are a brand or a business with tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in your marketing budget, you can siphon off slices of it, which is still scalable,
right,
to do experiments, test and learn.
Yep.
In New Zealand, we don't have that luxury. I also think we are playing to a ceiling that's here, but the rest of the world's playing to here. And we're letting our imagination get curtailed because we're already second-guessing it, going, we could never afford that, we could never do it, they will never buy it. And it's tough, because when you're in the really innovative space in interactive or digital, depending which way you look at it, probably the best stuff you've done has never been done before. When I show a great script for a piece of film, now that idea has never been done before, but I can talk about the production techniques, I can talk about the scale, right, I can talk about the pitfalls that might happen, and the style of it really easily because there's reference.
Right.
We don't have reference for the new digital work because it hasn't been done before,
yeah,
and it's hard. And when it might be all your budget instead of 5 or 10% of your budget,
Right.
you got to respect the tough calls the clients got to make, and we got to give them confidence, and that's I think spending a lot of money in scoping and prototyping, and I think Finch showed that today.
Yep.
You know, spend 5% building a prototype model to give you confidence that the rest of the money will go somewhere.